Hi everyone, I'm Courtney Saari. I'm going to be talking to you today about Sarasota Bay fishes. So I work for the Fisheries Independent Monitoring Program from FWRI. We have been sampling every other month in Sarasota Bay, this whole lagoonal system, from almost about 10 years now. We use a variety of sampling gears. This map is up here just to show you the extent of our coverage in 1 year. Every dot you see is a spot where we have pulled a net for sampling. So we have 3 different gears that we use: trawls, 70-foot seines, and 600-foot seines. So here are a couple of pictures of those seines to give you an idea. We're pulling them along shorelines and also out on the flats. The 70-foot seine has a smaller mesh, so we are collecting the juvenile fish and the smaller fish, and then the 600-foot seine has a larger mesh size. That one targets the subadults and the adult populations. One of the great things about having this long-term monitoring data set is that we can track changes in populations over time. So here we have roughly 10 years in Sarasota Bay and a little bit more than 20 years in some of the other estuaries that we have heard from today. So looking at snook, over time we're able to see in all of these estuaries we're tracked the cold kill event that happened in 2010, and we've seen that snook have rebound in all of the estuaries except for in Sarasota Bay, in Tampa Bay, and Charlotte Harbor, everywhere except for the Northern Indian River Lagoon. So back to Sarasota. Mainly this fishery the fish community is dominated by anchovies and pinfish, along with mojaras and killifish. And it's the taxa richness, so the species diversity, and our catch per unit effort have been pretty reliable and steady over time. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about seagrass habitat. So we found that when we're pulling the fish communities over seagrasses are much higher than they are over areas that don't have seagrass or submerged aquatic vegetation. We're finding almost double the amount of catch size and double the amount of species richness. So that's good. We know that there's a difference between presence and absence, but really what I also wanted to look at was, does the amount of seagrass matter? So we're looking at the percent of seagrass coverage, if I can get there. Take-home message there is that basically as the percent cover increases, the catch also increases, and the diversity of that community increases. So even 25% cover or 50% cover supports a more diverse community than no seagrass. The other really unique thing about Sarasota Bay is there are so many different types of shoreline habitats that we have here. We've heard that there's hundreds of miles, or around that much, of seawalls. Okay, so we have natural shorelines that are mangroves and beaches and marsh grass, oysters. We have man-made shorelines that have seawalls or riprap. And then we have these combination shorelines, or these living shorelines, where you have this artificial man-made habitat that also has natural habitat in front of it. The community diversity is a lot higher when you have some variety in your habitat. So when you have that living shoreline, when you have those mangroves, here's a picture that has all of these habitats in one. We have the natural habitat over here on the left and the artificial or the man-made seawall on the right. And what I was trying to show you there is that we are catching we have a greater diversity of species. You're going to see more sport fish. You're going to see more bait fish at those complex habitats, whereas at the seawalls, you're mainly just going to end up with anchovies and pinfish, where you're going to get the snook and the sea trout and the killifish and the pipefish and the shrimp, and you name it. You're more likely to have that in front of vegetation. Thanks for bearing with me. Sorry for all my technical difficulties.